Welcome to Fire Up the Mic. Our resident ruler craftsman, Robert White, is here to talk to us today about the things he creates and the stuff that he does. How you doing today, Robert?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing alright. So, would you like to start us in the mechanics of this? How your creations start out and how you do it.
Well, the procedure. Actually, I'll start with when I started, 1994. Into it by a friend of mine who later on died. But he actually got me into it by showing me what he was working on, which was a crystal, all the points on them. It was just a clear quartz crystal point. He brought me into the club, into the lapidary club, and they started me out on one of the harder sort of stones that you can get. I would like it and continue on. They started me on petrified wood. And they had me go onto the machines that they had, the grinding wheels, grits of grinding wheel there, 80 grit, which is really rough, just to cut down the stone. And then after you've cut and shaped it a little bit, get you to put it onto what is called a dop stick. Stick is a piece of wood like a kebab skewer or a piece of dowling that they cut up into small pieces. The stone on the wax is you join the wax to the stone, and then once it cools down, it sticks there really hard until you freeze it off. So while you're working with the grinding wheel and water, can sometimes lose the stone, but it's rare. It holds on tight. They have certain ways of shaping the stones. Can't really show it because, well, I'll probably be able to take photos, provide those. But they have you cut off an angle of about a 45-degree angle after you've shaped the stone, an oval sort of shape, if you're just starting off and doing a cabochon. Is the rounded stones, both ways oval. The others shaped, then from side to side is shaped as well. And they usually have a very good polish on them. You go through the system of the grinding wheels, then you go through the system of sandpapers that you have to wet down as well, because for safety reasons, it's not good to breathe in rock dust. So they get you to have everything sort of wet down. They tell you that you can wear an apron that they provide. Over the years, I've decided, nah, it's too much time to get them on and off. Being down here where it's normally hot all the time, it's somewhat easier going if you have sort of a lot of water on your chest anyway. And you go through the systems of the grinding wheels, the systems of sandpapers, and then they have a polishing wheel and then a buffing wheel. Polishing wheel, they have what's called cerium oxide. It has to be wet as well once you put it on the stone after you've got it to the final sandpaper, because it gives like a glaze. what you've already done. So it might look like the stone is all nice and polished and shiny. A few scratches that you haven't really seen while working on them. Go onto the polishing wheel, and that usually either marks where the scratches are, so you can go back and do some more, or if it's pretty good, it will basically buffer out the marks that can be seen, and you end up with a pretty shiny stone. My best to make up different things. I am working on the stones themselves. I tend to try and find out would like to have imbued into the stone, into the stone work it myself. Being able to basically into the stones that I work on, and I vibrations into them, like, or if the person is depressed, I try and make it a happy stone. It can work on metals as well, just depending on what I make. They've worked pretty well. I've sent a few pieces to different countries. I've worked on opal, made up an opal pyramid. Sent that to Scotland. I believe the person that has that one has enjoyed what I've put into it. She's gotten married, had a child. For that one, I put in good intentions, good feelings. For another one, I sent over to the US. I made it into a teardrop shape. Married. Influence over that part. But the intention of goodwill to most of the stones that I've worked on. Currently, I am working on several bits of blue tiger eye. They've come out, well, the first piece I've made has come out pretty well. I've put some intentions in this one of power, and it has its own vibrations to it. Again, it's a square piece, so I'm going to have to make a square metal frame for it. Sided one. I'm going to put two sides of it, obviously, to hold the stone in, like clamps, claws on each end. Keep it intact in the binding. Sort of like the piece of Apache tear. I had 3 pieces on this holding, 3 pieces of silver in U shapes to hold it, but one of them fell off ages back. From that, you can then send them out to whoever you want, if you want to sell them to people or gift them to people. and from that you can you send it out. Hopefully, the person that gets it feels the intention of the stone.
So, when you give out intentions, when you the intention of the stone, how does that work? How does that work?
Well, when I'm actually working on the stone, I'm thinking of the person that the stone will be going to, and I just put good thoughts into the stone while I'm working on it, which goes straight through my fingers into it. 100% positive that it works most of the time because I haven't had any bad feedback from the people I've sent these stones to.
So, positive intuition. That's that's pretty interesting. That's
Positive thoughts into the creation of the stone. Yeah.
that is awesome. That's any idea of how like we see radio waves, they go into the air and end up in your receiver and your radio. You know, how can you explain how that works?
Well, when I am working on the stone, I get it as usually a rough piece of whatever it is I'm getting, pre-tumbled stones, which I can cut up and use in that fashion. But most of the time it's raw, rough stone that hasn't been touched, except for the person that's picked it up and sent it from China or Hong Kong. And they get here usually within 14 days. The club. I usually take a good long look at each stone, try to figure out what sort of shape it wants to be in, because I usually go by the feel of the stone. With opal, that can be difficult because there can sometimes be sand on the opal, and you have to pretty much clean out all the sand. Otherwise, it doesn't come out all that good. But for most of the other stones, you can rough stone down to a good shape in a few minutes. And where the person's going to wear it, excuse me, depending on where the person is going to wear it, if they're going to wear it as a ring, brooch, or a pendant, it just depends on what shape they would like. Because if you have it in a ring, you don't want it to be a massive piece. So you try to go for a smallish piece, make it either round or oblong. Go from there. For pendants, you can make them a little bit larger. If you go for something like a scrying stone, which I've just recently been making up as well, go for uniformity, so it won't be off-center, equal all the way around. I've been attempting to make them teardrop shape for those sort of pieces. Apart from that, there's not much else to say. As I said, you can shape them any way you want to. That's just called freeform. If you do it as a cabochon, that's there is a terminology, but I can't remember what it is. But you can do cabs. You can do faceting even. Cut the sides and have them like a diamond shape. Different technique. You use a faceting machine. Faceting machine for the cutting of the diamonds. Either a few copper plates, dust pushed into them, ground into the plate itself, is what is cutting the stone into the shapes. Apart from that, not much else really. In the design of them, I have heard that there are types that you can glue together. Again, you glue a tiger eye to a piece of quartz. Interesting effects, because the stones themselves have powers too, adding to what the powers of the stones are with the good intentions that I put into them.
Okay, so let's your top 10 favorite. How about that? Your top 10 favorite and their abilities.
Well, the top 10 would be amethyst, and I've recently found out there's one type excuse me, of amethyst. Hang on. She's got the obviously.
That's a
yeah,
good
there's
ringtone.
yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean. What was I saying? Yeah, the top 10 amethyst. They for the major part of it, amethyst. Hang on, I have a book in front of me called the Crystal Bible 3. Several amethysts. There's amethyst amichlorite, amethyst and Canadian red capped. There's a crystal cap amethyst, a high vibrations, in the multitude forms that life encompasses. The healings are usually reduced swellings, bruisings, purifying of the blood. If you've been drinking the night before, if you hold on to an amethyst, it can ease up a hangover. Garnet, well, this one here, it says garnet in pyroxene. In grey, it says, for healing, it's, as with all garnets, this combination may assist blood flow and the heart, high fertility, and a sluggish metabolism. Most of the garnets out there. The third would have to be, because opal has all of the colours in it, so it has more power than most stones. For healing, they may assist in insomnia and for colds, flus, fevers. Best at the energetic level of healing. I'm going through a few different types just to let you know. Is honey opal is said to be a natural antibiotic for fevers, colds, and flus. An Ethiopian opal, which works best at the subtle or psychosomatic soul level of healing, strengthens the biomagnetic field and the emotional body, the etheric blueprint into balance, so that changes manifest in the physical body. A different range of different things the opals can do. Probably a good one that I use a fair bit. There's one here called Obsidian Fire. has a healing power of energetic recovery from serious illness or psychosomatic disease beyond the physical body to transform the soul. I have worked on rainbow obsidian as well as green obsidian, which I haven't found in any of the books yet. But the rainbow obsidian I have as part of a ring here. Energetic feel to me, at least, that it's helping to cleanse, I guess, one. I know that it has a tendency to, so I think that has a connection to the brain, just to lift the spirits, basically.
That is awesome. That is so cool. Man. So do you have a I know you got a Facebook page. I don't know if you have a website or anything like that, but where can we find you at? You know.
I have the Facebook page. I have a photography page as well. A website set up, but I believe my ex-wife has taken that down now. Find out, but I believe she wouldn't have kept it up and running. Page, I have got a DeviantArt site as well. Most of the things I have are Battle Liner. So, or Robert White's photography in Facebook. You can contact me on Facebook.
Right on, man. That is awesome. Thank you for this. This is awesome. It's hard to find people that put their heart, their mind into stonework. You know, most of the time it's all machinery and nobody actually touches it. And to actually have somebody that puts their hands on it and that puts the intention into it, that is huge, man. That is, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. Yeah, there are some people over in China that do the work, but they're getting paid enough for what they do. They're the they get about 3 cents, 5 cents and then they sell them to the corporations, which then put $1,000 markup on most of the stones that they work on anyway, to sell them and make themselves rich. And it's all basically, as you said, machinery. After that point, they have the machines making the rings of gold. They have the machine making earrings now. And there's a very mechanical sort of feel to most of the products put out into the general of the jewelry stores. By the windows, and you look in at the stones and the metals and think that that's all been done by a computer or a machine. Tell when somebody has handmade something.
Well, I appreciate you being part of our team. You know, you are a part of Fire Up the Mic, and this is huge. that somebody is out there able to put their abilities out there and actually help people. You know, this is big. This is so many machines are taking over, and we have you that takes it into your own hands and to create something by hand, to put your abilities into it, and your wanting them to have what they need out of it. That is huge, man. And I'm glad you are part of our team, and we're looking forward to seeing more of you.
Well, thank you. And you're a very big part of the team as well. And we're glad to be part of the team as well with you in it.